My name is Grace Thompson, and I'm 19 years old. I grew up in a small town, surrounded by the warmth of family and a community rooted in faith. Going to church every Sunday was just part of life. But to be honest, my faith had become more of a routine than a relationship. I believed in God, but he felt distant. Someone I thought of occasionally, not someone I walked with daily. That Christmas season, I was caught up in the hustle of life, shopping for gifts, scrolling through social media and planning a family dinner. Outside, the world seemed full of chaos, wars, natural disasters, and economic crises. But I thought to myself, that's not my problem. It's all happening far away. I was wrong. That Christmas Eve, everything changed. While helping my mum set the table, I suddenly felt dizzy. My chest tightened, and the lights on the Christmas tree blurred. I heard my mum call my name, but her voice seemed to fade as darkness enveloped me. When I opened my eyes, I was no longer in my living room. I stood in an infinite white expanse, silent and weightless. I felt an overwhelming peace wash over me. Then I saw him, a figure bathed in light, full of majesty and love. I didn't need to ask who he was. It was Jesus. He looked at me, his gaze piercing through to the depths of my soul. "Grace," he said, his voice gentle, yet filled with authority. "Your mission is not yet complete. Come with me. There is something you must see." In an instant, the white expanse transformed into a bustling city. Streets were packed with people going about their lives unaware of what was coming. Suddenly, the sky turned crimson, and a blinding flash lit up the horizon. The sound of an explosion roared like 1,000 storms, shaking the ground beneath my feet. A wave of fire engulfed the city. Buildings collapsed as if they were made of sand. People screamed in terror. I saw a mother clutching her child, shielding them from the flames, but there was no escape. A man knelt amidst the rubble, his face etched with despair. Tears streamed down my face as I turned to Jesus. "Why?" I whispered. His expression was heavy with sorrow as he said, "This is what happens when humanity forgets me. They put their faith in power, weapons, and their own pride instead of my love and peace." He showed me more. Nations rising against nations, leaders plotting destruction, and the world unraveling in chaos. His words echoed the prophecies of Matthew 24:6-7. "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." The scene shifted again. I saw long lines of people waiting silently, their faces filled with fear and exhaustion. Each person extended their hand to receive a small device implanted in their wrist or forehead. Without it, they couldn't buy food or water. Those who refused were cast out, hunted, and treated as enemies. In a towering building of glass and steel, leaders stood around glowing screens, their faces cold and emotionless. Jesus pointed towards them. "They believe they are saving the world," he said. "But in truth, they are building a system of slavery where all must bow to their rule." His words reminded me of Revelation 13:16-17. It also forced all people to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark. A cold wind swept through, and I saw the earth, scarred and broken. Forests were gone, replaced by charred stumps. Rivers had dried up, and oceans were filled with plastic and death. The air was thick with smog, suffocating all who tried to breathe. Animals lay dying, and people fought over the few resources that remained. Jesus spoke, his voice filled with grief. "They consumed without gratitude, destroyed without care. The earth cries out because of their sin. His words reminded me of Romans 8:22. The whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Amidst the destruction, I began to notice small glimmers of light. Jesus led me to a humble house where a group of people huddled together. They had little, a flickering candle, a loaf of bread, but they shared what they had and prayed fervently. Despite their suffering, their faces shone with unwavering faith. "These are my faithful ones," Jesus said. "They are the light in the darkness. Though they suffer, their faith will never be extinguished." I saw them reading scripture and singing hymns, reciting verses like Psalm 23 verse 4. "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Their light began to spread, connecting with others across the ruins, forming a network of hope. Jesus pointed to the sky, and a brilliant light pierced through the darkness. The heavens opened, and I saw him, clothed in glory, riding a white horse as described in Revelation 19:11-16. His voice thundered, "Behold, I am making all things new. Prepare your hearts. I love you, and I will return." I watched as the earth was renewed. Rivers flowed again, forests sprang to life, and people lived in harmony. Pain and suffering vanished, replaced by peace and joy. His promise from Revelation 21, verse 5, echoed in my heart. "Behold, I am making all things new." When I opened my eyes, I was lying in a hospital bed. My family stood around me, tears of relief streaming down their faces. I couldn't explain everything I had seen, not yet, but I knew I was forever changed. I wasn't the same Grace Thompson who had collapsed on Christmas Eve. I had been given a mission. This Christmas, remember that it's not just about celebrating the birth of Christ, but also preparing for his return. His light still shines in the darkness, and his promise remains. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Matthew 24:42. Are you ready?